You know, I can tell you the biggest problem in only 5 seconds. Alright, here we go. You know what most TV shows have? A story. And you know what most Nintendo games don't have? You could probably put 2 and 2 together. So Nintendo has acquired an animation studio and no one's been talking about it. I mean, I've seen a couple posts here and there, but nothing that really broke the internet like the Mario movie cast or Peppa Pig on Switch. Which is crazy because it does seem like something that would be a huge deal, but it just isn't. But come on, for someone like me that has nothing better to do than talk about Nintendo all day, I for one have some opinions and some questions. Well, I'm gonna attempt to answer those questions so you don't have to. Or Nintendo doesn't have to, I don't know. So this is the Glass Half Full, and this is why Nintendo Pictures might be a disaster or the best thing to ever happen to them. It's way too early to tell. Now before I say anything else, let me just say the announcement felt very weird. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I first found out about this, it wasn't through a Twitter post or the official Nintendo channel, but instead, my friend sent me some Reddit post about Nintendo acquiring an animation studio, which had me think, wow, this is really fake. And it wasn't, and now no one's making a big deal out of it. So, what does that mean? The first thought I had was that Nintendo saw the 5-second clip of Sonic Prime and said, aw shit, we need to do this but better. But I guess getting a whole studio isn't as easy as it seems. There's a lot of money and business and contracts to be signed, so it'll take a couple weeks at least. And then I thought if Nintendo is just trying to copy what Sony is doing. But that doesn't seem that plausible since Sony isn't just a video game company. They make electronics like TVs, headphones, and Spider-Man. And besides, Sony only has 1 video game movie. Well, technically 2, but does Pixels really count? But anyway, the whole theory makes no sense. Right now, the obvious answer is Nintendo wants to make movies and TV shows off of their franchises, which I want to agree with, but then what the fuck is happening with the Mario movie? Why is their star child, their biggest character and series in their first movie outing ever, their second movie outing ever, being made by an outside studio? Now, I'm not trying to knock Illumination this time around. I did a fair share of shitting on them before, so I'm not trying to rehash myself. But I did say that why would they trust the most precious IP in the hands of Illumination and not just do them themselves? And it's not like the movie is even out or coming out soon, so why do this type of thing now? With such limited amount of info we know now, my headcanon is that Miyamoto is seeing how well the Mario movie is coming along, and with that momentum and the staff working on the movie, he wants to bring them over to create even more Nintendo film projects, without needing to make all these deals with other studios. Again, this is all headcanon to make all this make sense, but Nintendo is crazy as fuck, so who knows how all this came to fruition. So before I talk about what specific TV shows or movies they can make, and why exactly they can be horrible, I want to talk about the studio that they're acquiring. So, y'all ever heard of Dynamo Pictures? So 99% of all humanity has no clue as to what exactly Dynamo Pictures is. But you're in luck, since I took the liberty of doing hours upon hours of research on them to see what exactly they've made and how good of a fit it is. Yeah, I got nothing. Okay, but in all seriousness, I haven't found anything that significant that shows how good or bad they are at animation when it comes to Nintendo games. Which includes the cutscenes for Metroid Other M and Pikmin, which look pretty solid in my opinion for the time they came out. But that's the thing, at the time they came out. These came out 10 years ago and they looked pretty good, I guess, but I assume by now they are a lot better. But also, they've done some work on some non-Nintendo games, which includes Nier and Final Fantasy, which look pretty impressive in my opinion. Are they technically Nintendo games now? They also worked on a handful of anime, which includes Dragon Ball and some pirate anime movie. But again, they helped make them. Keyword helped. That means they weren't the main studio behind the animation. So basically, it seems they've been pretty concealed for a while now. But the fact that Nintendo went ahead and acquired the studio and subsequently just told them to change their name from Dynamo to Nintendo, because obviously the word Nintendo is a lot cooler than Dynamo. Yeah. But this is just weird to me. But it's also such a Nintendo thing to do. Like, of course they buy out a whole studio that no one knows because they're Nintendo. They saw something in them that no one else saw, and also they're fucking great. Now here's something I've neglected to say so far, and that is, there's a pretty good chance that Nintendo just acquired the studio to make more shorts and cutscenes. Which is fine, they can do that and all, but also, fuck that. I want to see Donkey Kong in glorious CG eating a banana in a movie. So it could be easy just to say that Nintendo has no big plans for them whatsoever. But that's not fun, so let's talk about every single Nintendo IP and if they work or don't work in a cinematic setting. For as many lovable and timeless characters Nintendo has, quite a lot of them don't work in a film setting. Okay, no, some of them do work, but you gotta make sure that they know their ABCs, or, you know, can talk. God damn, just looking at all these characters, a lot of them are just self-inserts with a backstory. You know, you are the Pokemon trainer, you are the Animal Crossing character, you are Pikmin. Okay, let's see how much of these actually work. Let's start listing. Nintendo TV shows and movies. I mean, it's coming out, not by Nintendo Pictures, but do I count it? I guess I do. We got the first one. Let's go. Woohoo. And judging how successful that movie might or might not be, they'd probably just opt to make more sequels with Illumination rather than just making a TV show. I also already explained before how a Mario story doesn't really translate well into a movie format, so making a whole TV show out of it also doesn't make any sense. Well, that's what I would say if there wasn't already a Mario TV show that came out in the 90s. And that show was probably good. I don't really know. I didn't watch it. But from what I do know, that was obviously not serious story based and just a bunch of cartoony episode fun. Which I guess brings up a good question. If Nintendo does decide to do this whole TV show movie thing, will the content be based off the game themselves? Or will it be an entirely new story and setting which makes the universe that much deeper? Or are we gonna have episodes where Link and Samus try to find the best pie in the Mushroom Kingdom? Which I'm down for. That sounds fire as fuck. This is the series people want to see the most, and for good reason. Who wouldn't want to see a cool action show of Link making his way through Hyrule with a huge overarching bombastic plot? I can imagine that this would be the top priority if Nintendo were to make some kind of TV show. I honestly wouldn't even mind a reimagining of a plot from a Zelda game, like Majora's Mask or Ocarina of Time. You still gotta figure out the whole Link not talking situation, but this is one everyone would want to see. I know Retro technically owns the IP and all, that also goes for a lot of series, I guess. And we had a pretty horrible show in the 90s, but I wouldn't mind seeing more Donkey Kong because who wouldn't want to see more Donkey Kong on the screen? Speaking of, we haven't seen him in like 8 years, and I miss him, man. Come back, please. Now this would be awesome as fuck. Metroid has some serious potential that can be explored in a movie or TV show. It's such a cool world that we don't get to see that often. And despite the somewhat lackluster sales in the past, Metroid Dread brought the series back to life. And I just want them to strike the iron while it's hot and maybe, just maybe, be able to make one alongside the release of Prime 4. Look, I know F-Zero is not on Nintendo's mind whatsoever, but come on, the name Captain Falcon holds so much value in the fans' eyes, and like, dude, imagine with me for a single second an F-Zero anime along the lines of Fast and Furious, or just some over-the-top satire of it. Like, I just want to see Falcon do some epic Baby Driver shit and then sock some dude in the face with a Falcon punch. Truly, I think all my problems will be fully healed. Again, this is the last thing on Nintendo's mind, but I would be a liar if I didn't say I wake up every single morning thinking about what could be. Yeah, I don't think Pokemon could ever work as a TV show, especially one that has over 1,100 episodes. Seriously though, if they were to make another one, they could make another live action movie or show that focuses on battling and not what the movie did. Guys, Kid Icarus, come on. Who's with me? Okay, I can already hear you saying, what the heck? Or the non-PG version, what the fuck? By far, I think this could be one of the easier and cooler ones to do. Since Pit actually has a personality, which gives him a one-up on every other series right now. And I think the premise of Kid Icarus is also just pretty interesting. Like, you know, Kid Icarus is like a god or something. Yeah, Palutena was also a god, and there's a lot of gods in the show, and I think that's pretty cool. Honestly, with a few tweaks here and there, they can just recreate the story of Kid Icarus Uprising, and you have a pretty damn good series right there. And don't forget, we actually had an anime based on this series before. Kind of. It was just an animated short to promote the new game, but it means the foundation is there. How about Splatoon? Honestly, I just think it'd be funny. I can't really think of any cool or interesting ideas they can do for a story. But at the same time, how do you do a TV show either way when the main characters sound like this? Maybe it'll be cool, or annoying, I don't know. Even though I haven't played the series, I see some serious potential from here. I mean, the setting is in space, and who doesn't love an awesome space adventure? But now with furries! This series can work pretty well, but I think more in a movie than a TV show. So, how about Fire Emblem? I mean, the story speaks for itself. Like, you already have a good-looking anime sword fighter with endless amounts of characters to use or just stories to adapt. There's definitely a lot of fun stuff you could do with the series. I mean, they already made the most perfect Kirby show ever, so I guess there's no point in doing it again. But if there were to be another one, I would love for the series to just embrace the absurdity of Kirby. Like, have him take a nap at the start of the episode, and by the end, he's battling some god for the last slice of pizza or something. Kind of like an episode of regular show. Animal Crossing, maybe?
I am so invested.
Look, Nintendo isn't even releasing a Pikmin 4 that should almost be complete, so how do you expect a whole show based on it? If anything, we're probably just gonna get more shorts. ARMS! Who? I think I mentioned all the important ones. Oh shit, I forgot about WarioWare. Talking about all these franchises and their chances is pretty fun, but in the end, it always comes down to the big question that's always on our mind. Will there be a Nintendo Cinematic Universe? Or, you know, a Smash Bros. Movie. Now, it does seem kind of absurd to talk about this subject with the sole fact that Nintendo acquired one animation studio, but that's what Nintendo fans do best. They take one tiny thing Nintendo did that means absolutely nothing, and make a big deal out of it. Well, the thing is, on paper, a Nintendo Cinematic Universe would sound amazing, but in practicality, I don't know if it actually works. What are you talking about? Just look at the MCU, you might be saying right now, but come on, that is a lot different. A lot of these plot lines in these movies derive from the comics, with some changes here and there, but in the end, all these characters from the movie all came before it in a very similar style to what Infinity War or Endgame did. And you could state that Nintendo also already did the same thing before with Smash, and more specifically, Subspace Emissary. But that is so much different since all these characters were already established to be in the same universe, and it's a fighting game, so it's not like making a cohesive story is the main objective. And also, the MCU sucks right now. If these Nintendo TV shows and movies actually come into fruition, will they all be part of the same universe? Is Hyrule gonna be a good bus ride away from Norfair? And who will the villain be? Will it be some big tag team of the villains in every series, or just an ultra big one like Taboo? There's just so many questions and plot holes I keep thinking of that makes the whole idea completely fall apart. But the more I talk about it, the more I fucking want it. Screw all the plot holes I'm saying. How cool would it be to see Fox and Samus chilling in an R-Wing together? Like, I know, I'm going way too far with this. Again, Nintendo acquired one studio and now I'm 6.5 pages deep into making a script about it, but Nintendo has been interested in delving into the film industry, and with some help from Illumination for their first movie, maybe it could actually work. So come 2030, we will all be lining up to see the first installment of Nintendo Universe, the movie. Name pending, I couldn't think of anything better. How excited are you, Glass? Yeah, he's probably right.